Donald Trump is scrambling right now. The panic has never been more clear coming out of the White House. And he is almost happily putting it on display for us all to see. Insane threats that he's making towards reporters, towards governors, towards Republicans, and really just making sure all of us can see them by putting them up on Truth Social, which is what Donald Trump just did, making an insane threat as a resignation bombshell has blown up his term. And his freak out is very obvious. And we are gonna get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the insane and panic post that Donald Trump just put up on Truth Social, we gotta start with why he's so panicked. And it's because his term has been pathetic, and Jasmine Crockett pointed it out right here.
And somehow he ended up back in office, and now he is literally terrorizing everyone, from children that are born in this country to children that aren't born in this country to adults. It is really sickening. And if we are really going to get back to where we are truly great in this country, it is going to take really looking at your neighbors and seeing their humanity. He was able to dehumanize people during the election, whether it was trans folk or whether it was the immigrant. He dehumanized. And if you study anything about the Nazis, that is where it all starts, is the dehumanization. And none of us should be sitting by, even if we're not trans, even if we're not an immigrant. You have to understand that the dehumanization will come in for black folk. It will come in for women. It will come in for everyone, and that is why we unfortunately got here. But if we recognize where we went wrong, hopefully we can get back on track and recognize that our strength lies in our unity, because there's so many more of us than there are of them, this hateful.
Everything is worse under Donald Trump. This is a person who came in promising to make everything better on day one. And the opposite has happened. Donald Trump has not maintained the strong economy that Joe Biden handed off to him. And people saying, oh, well, Trump promised more. He said things would be better, but they're just the same. No, he tanked everything. Everything is worse, inextricably worse. There is no argument that can be made that anything has gotten better for anyone who is not already a billionaire well connected to this administration, or had Trump as a last name, and is pocketing millions and billions off of crypto shitcoins and insider trading. That's just clear. And everyone can see it. It's in the polling.
The best one of the group puts him at 14 points underwater. That's the Marquette University Law School poll, tied for the worst he's ever had in that poll. Fox, 17 points underwater. Maris, 17 points underwater. The Reuters Ipsos poll, 22 points underwater. And then taking the cake, the AP North poll, 26 points underwater. When your best poll has you still 14 points underwater, you know it's truly bad, and it's as bad as 26 points underwater. We're talking about an average well underwater with the deep blue sea, swimming with the fishes.
And now this is all parties here. If you think this is bad, Harry.
If you think this is bad, what is driving these horrific numbers for Donald Trump? Well, why don't we take a look at independents? Trump's net approval rating with independents. Back in January, he was close to even. He was at -4 points. Not great, but not terrible. Look at this number. 43 points underwater with independents in the most recent average of these polls. When you have 43 points underwater with independents, you know you're doing terribly. You can't win with this. If this holds for next year's midterm election, wave adios amigos, goodbye, see you later to that House Republican majority and that Senate Republican majority, very much in danger as well. When you take a look at the Pew Research validated voter survey going back to last year, he was basically even among independents with Kamala Harris. Now he is 43 points underwater. Whatever he is doing with independents, it ain't working. They despise him at this point.
That is just a colossal drop.
Oh, my God, it's a 40-point move.
Okay, that's among certain political groups here. How about what issues may be driving this?
Okay, yes.
It is pretty obvious to everyone paying attention. And everyone paying attention is pissed because Donald Trump's administration is worse than we honestly could have ever imagined. It's revealing itself in the polling. And it's revealing itself in elections that we just had earlier in November. And that's not the only run of elections that Donald Trump's got to worry about, because there are more special elections coming up. And of course, one of them is going to be taking place on Tuesday in Tennessee. Now, this is a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points, and the Republican, the member of Congress who left this seat open, did so with a resignation after he helped Donald Trump pass what is the most unpopular piece of legislation, his one big beautiful bill to come out of either of his terms. So Donald Trump saw the resignation of a Republican member of Congress who thought that his seat was safe for the next Republican, because he was so disgusted and done with Donald Trump after passing his bill that he decided, I'm gonna go find myself a little work in the private sector. And he thought all would be well, but all isn't well. A seat that Donald Trump won a year ago by 22 points has been moved so far to the left by Donald Trump's horrible budget, his disgusting administration, his devastating attacks on cities all across this country, that this seat, oh, Donald Trump is trying to threaten his way to victory in this insane post right here. Trump wrote on Truth Social, I am asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District who haven't voted yet to please get out and vote on Election Day, Tuesday, December 2nd, for a phenomenal candidate, Matt Van Apps. Matt is fighting against a woman who hates Christianity. Here comes the threats. Will take away your guns, wants open borders, transgender for everybody, men and women, sports, and openly disdains country music. She said all of those things precisely and without question. It's on tape. Do not take this race for granted. The radical left Democrats are spending a fortune to beat one of the best candidates we've ever had, Matt Van EPS. You can win this election for Matt. Get out and vote for Matt Van EPS, who has my complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down. Never let you down. You say, well, there was once a man named Donald Trump who promised Republicans he would never let them down. And now, those same Republicans are furious with Donald Trump. I also find it funny that Donald Trump thinks that saying Afton Bain, who, by the way, is an incredible candidate who we are going to hear from in a second, that she has a disdain for country music and hates MAGA, is like this dunk on her. First of all, these are not true statements that Donald Trump is making. But no one has more disdain for his supporters than Donald Trump. He hates his own supporters. He thinks they're fat, they're ugly. Things are true about him, actually, that he's fat and ugly, but he thinks they're stupid. Why do you think Donald Trump is the grifter that he is? Is it because he respects the intelligence of the people who support him? No. He thinks they're dumb as shit. He thinks they're gullible as hell. He thinks they're big dumb idiots. And they are. If you're still falling for Donald Trump's shit in the year of our Lord 2025, I apologize for my language. But seriously, you are a big dummy. And so Donald Trump absolutely feels that way about his own supporters. So it's very funny to me that that is his criticism of an incredible candidate who you are gonna want to hear from. This is might be the most important race that we have had since Donald Trump was elected all the way to the midterm. I don't know, Zoran. It's a lot of important, but it doesn't matter what is the most important race. You are going to want to hear from this incredible candidate.
If we flip this seat, it will send a national message that the Republican Party needs to get serious about lowering healthcare costs.
But before we dive into some of those aspects in your race, I do want to get your views on your party, because there's been a debate since last year about the way forward in the party and the like, and voters still have a very low opinion of Democrats per many public polls. Even one recent poll showed that just 29% of Americans have a favorable view of Democrats. So what about your view about your party and your party's leaders, specifically about your party's leaders? Do you have confidence in your party's leaders?
Well, I've been running this race as a Democrat that cares about affordability, and I think that's what's going to win it for us. I think that there is a new generation of leadership in the party, and especially from the South, where we want to see Democratic leaders that step up, especially in moments like this that require a fearless, bold leadership. And that's, what I'm offering the district. And I think it's resonating with voters.
If you had a chance to, would you vote for Hakeem Jeffries as speaker?
We represent very different districts, and I've got 48 hours to flip a congressional district and really send a message to Washington, like I said, that they need to get serious about healthcare costs. Honestly, I haven't thought about it, but I want to say that I have been really grateful as someone who has organized in the South her entire life. I've been very grateful for the national support in this race. Tennessee is often a state that is overlooked and disinvested in, and to see national surrogates and national supporters providing monetary support and jumping in, it really means a lot to all of us. We welcome it all.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, because we are seeing both sides sending these big name surrogates in these final hours before Tuesday, and tomorrow, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is holding a tele rally for you. Are you in line with her ideologically?
Like I said, I think that there is a strain of the Democratic Party that cares about holding corporations accountable and lowering costs for working families. And my politics are one in alignment of that. As a state legislator, I've worked to eliminate Tennessee's regressive grocery tax. As an organizer, I work to make healthcare more affordable in the state of Tennessee. And so I think those are the Democratic leaders and candidates that I really resonate with, are those that are trying to lower costs for working families.
Yeah, because Trump has been calling you, quote, the AOC of Tennessee. So, I mean, aren't you just feeding into that narrative by appearing with her?
Like I said, we're really grateful for the support across the political spectrum. And if you and for your listeners, the Teletown Hall also features former Vice President Al Gore, who is a Tennessee legend. So I look at it as iconic that you have Democrats from all political stripes joining in on this moment and saying, we are standing up to what is happening in Washington, and we want to be part of the solution rather than the problem.
Yeah, because some of those you're campaigning with, including AOC, have called for ICE to be abolished. You have been sharply critical of the ICE raids in Nashville, but do you think that ICE should be abolished?
Like I said, I've got 48 hours to flip this congressional district and have been dogged about the message of affordability. And that's not what I'm hearing in the district. What I'm hearing is people, especially rural voters, are driving 4 hours to a hospital without care. We've got veterans that are going without, care because the VA hasn't been fully funded. And so these aren't the issues that I'm hearing about in the district. What I am hearing about is that grocery costs are high.
This is the type of Democrat that we need, even if this was just another congressional race. This is the type of Democrat that we need. And in this time, in a district that went so heavily for Donald Trump, to be able to swing it, to be able to send that message, to maybe be able to spur more resignations, to get us closer to Mike Johnson losing his gavel. Oh my God. As Speaker before the midterms, it'd be delicious. So we got to keep fighting. This is such an important race. You could still get involved. We are going to keep talking about it. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let him silence you until next time. I'll see you soon.